So from a behavioral standpoint, it's fascinating to see them, cross such a large water body and over such a long distance. But I think it's also a testament to a much larger problem, and it's a symptom of a much larger problem, and that's animals are having to take much bigger risks in a human-dominated world. You see them sort of initially just sort of dip their feet in. They literally swim 20 meters and then they sort of turn around and then they proceed to try again, which is a much bigger swim of about 200 or 300 meters, the way that they sort of loop and split. But that sort of second video is actually pretty fascinating because it's pretty clear that something's trailing them. It's either a hippo or a Nile crocodile. So that Kazinga Channel, which essentially links the two lake systems of Lake Edward and Lake George, it's got a pretty high density of Nile crocodiles and hippos, which are both known to attack and even predate on lions. So I think what you're seeing in those first few attempts is, they're kind of scrubbing up the courage, probably encountering something in the water. And then in that last attempt, they just say, okay, we're going. And, they make that monstrous swim of over sort of a mile. At least to me and my team, really the testament of probably the most resilient lion on the continent. I mean, this is an animal that was caught in a snare. He was saved from that snare. A year later, he lost that same leg that was trapped in the snare in a poacher's wheel trap, probably in the Congo. Then 6 months after that, his family was poisoned. His pride was essentially splintered in two. Shortly thereafter, he was gored by a buffalo. Then he makes a 75-kilometer dispersal up north, trying to find territory with his two brothers, loses a brother, and now sort of we see him in the twilight of his life, taking the biggest risks of his life to try and, pass on his genes. So, yeah, I think obviously it's all the more remarkable that he's only got 3 legs. But I mean, this just seems to be there's something about this particular line that just says, I'm not going to give up.
Across continents, one powerful news source.
Bringing you diverse perspectives on the issues that matter.
We go beyond the boundaries to give you that little extra about every sporting moment. So thank you for making Firstpost 5 million strong. We're counting on your support, and you can trust us to bring you the news unfiltered and unvarnished. On the show today, the T20 World Cup bandwagon has moved across to the West Indies. What can you expect?
Hello, I'm Alison Green, coming to you from Durban, South Africa. Today we have a special show.
Start with a report on India's shifting nuclear posture. The first time since India officially became a nuclear power.
Hello and welcome to Firstpost America. I'm Aaron Ham, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Washington, D.C.